What's up, activators? It's your host, Caitlin, and welcome back to the show. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but it is our 40th episode today. And I just remember I've been doing a lot of reflecting here this last week, and I just remember this being a dream of mine 2 or so years ago. And now here we are with over 30 interviews logged, a bunch of episodes released, you all as this community loving and sharing all the wisdom that's, weaved into these episodes. And for all of those things, I am so, so grateful. It is wild to see that even though sometimes this feels like a task because I am doing this fully on my own, from production and recording, of course, the interviewing itself, to the social media, I can sometimes get really hard on myself that I need to be doing everything differently in order for this podcast, or frankly, my life, to feel like it's successful. And I'm just so, so proud that we've made it here. And so whether it's your first episode or that you're tuning in, or you've been here for the full ride, I'm so, so grateful that you are here. And I can't wait to do this again and again and share even more beautiful wisdom along the way. Before I share with you our guests for this week, I wanted to say happy full moon vibes. I am recording this on Saturday night, so it's right under the Aquarius moon, and we just are kind of leaving that 8/8 Lionsgate portal. And whether you're into astrology or not, I'm sure you probably feel this big energy going on right now. It's the heat of the summer. There's a lot of things going on in the world. I've said this a million times this season, but it's so easy to get interwoven and caught up in the spice, the heat of this moment. And I'm really looking forward to the season or the next couple of weeks of just kind of letting go of everything that we burned up so that you can start to rebuild into the fall and into the new. It feels like a big shifting of seasons, and I've seen so much online about the Lionsgate portal this year. I try to fit in a practice every single year. And, honestly, mine last night was watching the new season of Wednesday and relaxing and resting my body because your girl's exhausted. So however you're celebrating, know that these next couple of weeks are still going to be spicy, but you are in control of what you can, and let the universe show you what magic is about to happen for you. Very exciting news on my end of the mic. Today, I just completed, drumroll please, my Mat Pilates certification. So I submitted all my requirements to the teacher training program that I've been enrolled in for the past, maybe 6 or 7 weeks. And now I'm just waiting to get that certificate in the mail and start teaching. And it feels really, really good to add a new modality of movement to my belt. Yoga has been something that I've taught for years and years and years. And obviously I went full time with it because I do truly love it that much. But at the same time, sometimes, as a movement professional, I'll say, you go through these lulls where you don't feel as inspired, or you need something to reinvigorate you to teach your very best all the freaking time, and to really put your creative power into curating an experience and helping your students do that for themselves too. And, I would say for the past few months, it's just been kind of going through the motions for me some days. Some weeks I'm feeling really lit up about my sequence or my playlist. Others I'm like, let me show up and teach this class to the best of my ability that I'm in right now. And while I'm proud of all of those moments, sometimes it just doesn't feel as good as I want it to. And so this Mat Pilates program was like the perfect just ignition, that little fire to spark more creativity in my life, in the way that I move my body in my own practices. And I will tell you, for anybody that's like a Pilates hater, because I kind of was before, I was like, it cannot be that hard. When you add in even just your breath with your movement, or the tiniest bit of equipment, or just a combination of exercises that are perfectly curated to get your ass on fire, it'll do just that. it is really, really hard. And I think Pilates is a practice similar to yoga where it's really easy to be complacent or, dare I say, lazy. You can quote unquote go through the motions and not always feel as strong as you actually are. And it's been so cool to see, the last couple of months I've been feeling quite negatively about how I look right now, my body appearance, how I feel in my skin. And just by building up a consistent practice of Pilates, it's helped me to move in more creative ways, but also to get back to my yoga mat instead of teaching, but practicing. And I'm so excited because both of the modalities, this and Pilates and yoga, that, I plan to teach as soon as my certification arrives in the mail, is this devotion or this focus on the spine. It is an energetic channel that is so deeply important to not only our physical health, but, our overall health. That's where our chakras, are those energy centers, really settle into place. It's what keeps us laying down, standing up. It's what helps us move energy from our head to our toes and all the way back up again. And there's just this sacredness and this appreciation that I've really come to have even deeper from my yoga practice now that I am teaching and practicing Pilates more consistently. And let me tell you, I feel a whole lot stronger in the other ways that I move because of this practice. So this is a shameless plug. If you've never practiced Pilates, get on a reformer, get on a mat, whatever is most accessible to you, and try it. I'm a big believer that not one modality of movement is right for you. You kind of get to choose this perfect little combination. And I think, at least in this season of my life, I found it. I feel like I'm really building strength and mobility in all the ways that I'm moving. And I'm so, so grateful. So stay tuned for teaching schedule and all of that good stuff to come. And now that I feel a little bit more well-rounded and Matt and I are moving soon, there might be some big things percolating and in the works when it comes to movement practices and teaching others. So I'm really, really excited to share that with you sooner rather than later. Other than that, yeah, we're moving. It's crazy. We are sitting down more consistently, Matt and I, to figure out where, when, how, and all those juicy details. If you know anybody that has moved internationally, or you yourself have relocated, even if it's temporarily, to a different country, sound out off in the comments or reach out to us on Instagram. I would love any advice or perspective that you have to share. I think everybody has a different opinion about this, to be honest. Some people are like, no, you can't go other places. Some people are like, yeah, go, the world's your oyster. And I think Matt and I's biggest focus is just to go adventure and to enjoy this journey, but also to love up on communities that are already so beautifully strong and, yeah, find ways to share in the traditions and support the culture of whatever local places that we visit, whether it's for a day or two or for a month or two. So more to unfold there as well. So many cool things. Even as I'm just talking, I'm like, wow, so many cool things are coming in for me. And let this be a reminder that so many things that are cool are coming in for you too. And I hope you feel like you're ready to receive them and even see them with your own eyes. It's really easy to be like, okay, that's done. Next thing. Cool. But challenge yourself to sit back in this spicy, hot season and be grateful for it, burn down what you don't need, and get ready to grow and harvest whatever you've been percolating on, sitting with, and all that beautiful stuff. All right, that's enough of me yapping. Let's get to our guest this week, which is a newfound dear friend of mine and a creative, Claire Fabre. She is a dance and movement photographer. She started off with dance, and she's been taking photos of dancers, dance competitions locally, out of state, across the country for almost 10 years now. And it's so cool to see that she's still continuously evolving and transforming into more of a movement-based photographer, right? She and I are working together in her content club, which she'll talk more about on this episode, to get yoga photos and Pilates photos and all that cool stuff as I continue to launch my brand. And, she's done pickleball people, she's done fitness professionals, all of that cool stuff. So you'll definitely have to check out her images after you listen to this episode, because she's got just a knack for creating space in the most dynamic ways, capturing that movement in a still shot. But I also just love the way she edits her photos. And she's just a great, great human being. Claire is also a mental health advocate. On this episode, we talk a lot about what it's like to be in mental health recovery, knowing that, not every day is going to be good. And frankly, not every day is going to be easy either. And she kind of shares just her journey of what it was like to be in a really dark and really hard place. And through her recovery process, how she's just really come into her own. She's built her business from scratch all during the process, and how much she values things like really good self-help books and therapy and connecting with other people who also deeply advocate for the mental health of others. So on this episode, we'll talk a little bit about how creative ideas and that spark of like, oh my gosh, like I want to go for this, are enough to just actually go for it. Oftentimes as people, we sit back, we think on it, we mull it over, and then we never take action, because that idea of going for it is actually scarier than just letting it live in your head. So Claire kind of takes us through her path of like, hey, why photography? How did she get into it? She was a dancer previously as well. And just letting those things take time, as humans, we are constantly evolving. And so sometimes, your business is going to have a really good day. And sometimes it's going to be way, way harder to wade through the mud of a path not being necessarily written for you. We also talk about how important rest is as an entrepreneur, as a person who is in recovery, and just generally as humans. We often don't give ourselves enough time to rest in ways that feel good for us. Rest doesn't have to mean rotting on the couch. It can mean cleaning your home. It can mean doing the laundry. It can mean going for a walk in nature, or all of the above. And she's a big advocate for, finding what makes you feel healthy, feel happy, and then living in those spaces and places. And lastly, we talk a lot on this episode about inspiring others with your creativity. She shares a little bit about how, having all these different passions and also being an entrepreneur, while very tiring, can be so fulfilling, because you're constantly working with people who you build relationships with and you see grow in their craft over time. And I just love some of the nuggets of wisdom that Claire has to share. It's been so cool to get to know her over the past year or so, because now she's moving into a space where she wants to teach yoga. So working with kids in the dance realm, she's taking that to the yoga space, and I'm sure one day she'll be teaching studio classes in no time. On the flip end of things, when she's not working and doing her thing and having fun, you will catch her with her kitty cat and an iced matcha, either in her bed or at her favorite coffee shop here in the Valley. And I hope this episode is really inspiring to you if you're in a place or have been in a place where your mental health just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like yourself. Claire has so much knowledge when it comes to the process of like struggling through it and knowing that that struggle will probably continue always forever. That's the human experience. But to know that, you are so supported, not only by your angels, your guides, all those beautiful people, but also the communities around you with which you really invest your time and energy in. And I can confidently say, just by knowing Claire, that, she lives by that. She does that and shows up in the ways that she says she does. And I love that. We love that for people. So without further ado, here is my girl, Claire Fabre. Hey, Claire. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Caitlin. How are you?
I'm doing pretty darn good. How about yourself?
I'm good too. I've had it's the beginning of the week, but last week was a busy week.
Yeah, I know. I'm headed into one this week, so I'm like, well, I feel like a chicken with my head cut off a little bit, just running
Yes,
around. Like, what's
I
next?
get
What's
that.
next? So, oh, good. Well, wishing you some relaxation this week for sure.
Thank you. I definitely need to take some days off this week for
Yeah,
relaxation.
yeah. Get a little nap in.
Yes, I actually did today, so that's good.
Me
Like
too. Right
before
before
this,
this.
actually.
Good.
We just
Sleepy
shared
girls.
our little nap time together, like
Yeah, yeah.
unknowingly.
Sometimes, I don't know, it's just like by the middle of the day, especially with it getting like so hot so quickly now, I'm like,
Yeah,
if I'm outside for just like a little bit of time, I like come home and I'm like, I need like 10 to 15 minutes just to
same.
chill, you know?
The heat really gets me. Like, I get so tired after being out in the heat.
Yeah, yeah. So there's no getting used to it. We just gotta keep on trucking along, you know?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm so excited to have you on the show today. I feel like it's been fun for us to get to know each other and connect over this past year. And it's just so cool
Yes.
to watch, like, you as a business owner unfold and develop and create.
Thank
So
you.
I'm really excited to talk about that today.
Yeah, I'm so
Um,
excited too.
Good, good. I'm glad. I love to ask every question or every guest this question.
Okay.
It's why this podcast is named the Spiritually Active Podcast, and it's pretty rhetorical because I already know your answer, but I'm going to ask
You
it anyway.
do?
Well, are you spiritually active?
Yes, I would say so.
I would say
Um,
so too.
yeah, you would say so. Okay, then
Yeah.
I guess we're on the same page. Yeah, I would say I am. Um, Even though like that phrase has definitely like evolved for me throughout my life. Like what I thought being spiritually active means is very different from what I think it means now. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Tell us what it means to you now. Like, what does it look
Okay.
like and feel like?
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, I'm kind of like redefining what spirituality and spiritually active means to me because I have experienced a lot of like religious, I guess you could just call it religious trauma.
Sure.
But I have experienced a lot of just like religious experiences that have not been good. And so, but even though I have experienced all of that, I feel like my relationship with my higher power and my spiritual practice have grown
Mm-hmm.
tremendously throughout all of that. Um, like, I feel like honestly, those experiences are what made me kind of grow even more in my spiritual practice. Um, because I used to think of it as one way, and now I'm like, wow, it's totally not like about that. It's about like I would say, like in religion, like I kind of was taught that my higher power had to be a certain way, and now I kind of believe that it can be what I need it to be.
Hmm.
And I also believe that spirit or being spiritually active is like being in tune with yourself, like as well as your higher power. And your higher power can be in you as well, as what I believe. But I feel like yeah, like I feel like what was I gonna say? I always lose my train of thought. I have ADHD. We're just gonna preface this with that.
That's okay.
But yeah, I feel like I am starting to kind of realize that I can connect with myself and I can turn inward and trust myself. And I think just the process of like turning inward and connecting with myself and my higher power is like what I would define as being spiritually active.
That's beautiful. I love it. I love that you said too, like your higher power can be yourself because
Yeah.
for everybody, it's very different. Some
Yeah.
people, might not even connect with a quote unquote higher self or highest and greatest, whatever. It's just, what resonates with them. Nature might
Yeah.
be it, or what have you.
Yeah, it can be
So,
different for everyone. And I think what was so detrimental for my brain growing up is being told that it had to be like a certain way
yeah.
or a certain thing, and that like wasn't the best like thing for me. So, yeah.
Totally. I'm such a believer that like if that's the path that works for you, totally. I think sometimes though people don't explore if it is, I guess is the question. Or
Yeah.
I people anytime I do a tarot reading or even like, teaching a yoga class, people come in really skeptical. And I think sometimes that skepticism can be a really healthy thing, a good thing to like, I don't want to put all my eggs in this basket and you tell me what is what.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it can hold us back sometimes. So I love that like you're just open and redefining what that is each and every
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think too it has also evolved because once I entered recovery, I think a lot of that, like, because I'm in mental health recovery, and I feel like that was a big game changer for me when it came to spirituality, because I learned a lot of recovery is like, I mean, there's a lot that goes into recovery. I believe it's like
Yeah.
spiritual and it's physical and it's mental. It's not just like one, but
Yeah.
I definitely grew my spirituality when I entered recovery as well.
Beautiful. We'll touch on that for sure a little bit later on in our conversation.
Okay.
Right now, what is like the modality that you're resonating with, or how do you celebrate or express your spirituality in this moment?
Yeah, I would say my biggest way to like connect with like my spirituality is I journal a lot, and I like to journal my prayers because it feels like I'm making them more like, I don't know, like they exist
Real.
more in my brain. Yeah, like I I used to like struggle with journaling because I thought like I was like, well, like I don't know what to write about and stuff. But now I journal to my higher power, and I write like I journal to God. I will pray and like journal that out, and it like helps me more than if I just kind of like think it in my brain. I don't know. I just like to get it out on paper. And then even if it's like not a prayer, I'll still journal and like um I'll just like journal about how I'm feeling as if I was like talking to like someone who like cared about me and like wants to like know how I feel, I guess. Yeah.
That's such a lovely like frame of mind to journal from. When I write, it's usually like, oh, like I
Yeah.
just got to get this out. I don't even know who I'm talking to. Usually it's like I'm writing to myself.
Yeah.
But I think like just generally journaling is such a, it sounds so cliche and everybody's like, can you journal about it? But truly, like you can work your thoughts out in the lines of a page. And even like if you sit down for a few minutes, write a few things down, and then stand up again, like I don't know about you, but I feel so much better
Yeah, I
afterwards.
feel like it's so interesting too because I get it's so weird. I feel like journaling provokes like emotion in me because I am very like I don't know, it was probably just like all my experiences growing up, but I'm pretty numb to like I don't cry a lot, and I talk about this in therapy a lot too, but I feel like when I journal, like I feel like I want to cry, and I'm like, wow, this is so cool. Like I'm actually like connecting with my emotions right now in a way that like doesn't normally like I don't normally feel
Yeah.
that.
It's the key to the gate. Just unlock it,
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
I love it. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
I've gotten to know you over the course of the last couple of months from, teacher training and learning how to teach kids yoga to just
Yes.
like grabbing coffee here and there and co-working. So I loved that. But for our
Yeah,
listeners
we need
that
to do it
haven't,
again.
I know we got to go see, I can't remember the name of that place we went last time, but
The
whatever their summer,
Daydreamer Cafe.
yeah, whatever their summer drinks are. I'm like,
Oh, yes. Mm.
there's also a place, I'll text it to you.
Okay.
It's got peach matchas right now, and I'm like, yeah,
Peach matcha. Oh,
Yeah.
I love matcha.
So we'll investigate.
Yay. Okay.
But anyway, I've gotten to know you, which has been so fun. But for our listeners that have never met you before, can you just tell us a little bit about who you are and your life thus far? It's such a loaded question, but it's
I
a fun
know.
one.
I always get anxiety with this kind of question. Okay, so my name is Claire, and I'm 23 years old, and I am a full-time dance photographer, so I do that full time. Um, and I am also a mental health advocate. And what else? I'm trying to think. I I love yoga. I want to be a yoga teacher. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else about me. Those are like the biggest things I would say.
Yeah, I love it. And where are you from? Tell us that.
I am originally from California, northern kind of like East Bay area. And then I moved to Phoenix in 2022. So it's crazy. It's almost been 3 years. It's just crazy. I feel like time flies so fast.
Yeah. And you came out here to start your recovery process, is that correct? Or,
Actually, no. So I came out here, everyone always asks me this question, like, why did you move to Arizona? And I always am like, I don't know how to answer it because there's so many reasons that I just kind of was like, oh, like this was my reason, and this was my reason, and this was my reason. But the biggest reason I feel like my higher power was calling me here, which now I know why, because I was able to like enter recovery and like find my communities here and everything. But I feel like some of the reasons why I decided that I was going to come was mainly my business, because one of my biggest client bases was already Arizona, because I would travel a lot for photography, and like Arizona has a big like dance population, like competition dance is huge here. So I was like, okay, I already know that I have a lot of clients there, like I could make this work there. And then so that was one of the reasons. I had a couple jobs lined up already for photography. And then what else? I had like one friend, but like I really just wanted to like restart like a new journey, and I was like, I need to like move out because I like didn't want to live at home with my family. I was like, I want to live on my own. And also, what was I gonna say? Oh, and then also I was just like, I feel like because Arizona's a little cheaper than California. So I was like, okay, well, like if it's cheaper, like I'll be able to like do better. I don't know. So I just kind of gathered all these reasons. Was like, I'm moving to Arizona. I don't really have like a solid reason why. I just feel called to. And that's what I did.
That's so cool. Yeah, as my boyfriend and I talk more about moving, we're feeling the exact same way. It's like we love our communities here. It's so magical for us here, but we've also lived here our whole lives. And so I think there's something so like courageous and also exciting and fun about moving to a brand new place and just like trying it out and seeing how it goes. So kudos to you for packing up your stuff and
it was not easy.
Way.
Like I got here and I struggled like with my mental health and just like living situations and everything, and it wasn't until like this year that I finally got like kind of situated and like got my own apartment, and like now I'm living by myself and I'm finally like doing well like mentally for the most part. So I'm like, it took a long time to get settled, but now I'm here.
Yeah, that's the best. Yeah, it takes a second for sure. Let's like deep dive into entrepreneurship, because I think that's something you and I have like deeply connected on. It's so fun to be a creative for a living. You're young, you've started and built your business from the ground up. And like being a creative can be full of expansion and joy and just like, there's like moments where you're like, I'm lit up, I feel so good about what I'm doing. But it also definitely has those like, oh my God, like this is not easy moments too. So can you share with us a little bit about how like your business started and how it's evolved and changed over the years?
Yes. So I would say I started my business officially when I was 16 in 2018. I was in high school, I was in my junior year, and I was taking a photography class in high school. And I was also doing competition dance at the time. So I think one day we were like given an assignment to just like take our cameras out and like go take pictures. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to take my friends. And of course, all my friends were dancers because all my friends were from dance. So I took my dance friends and we went out to take pictures. And I had tried something new that I like didn't, because I like learned something, I guess, and I tried something new, and the pictures were turning out like so good, and I was like, wow, this is like actually really cool because the pictures are turning out really good. And so that day I started an Instagram account. It's to this day it's the same Instagram account I use for my business, but I just like started posting all the photos that I was taking, and I was following everyone from my dance studio on there, and they were following me back, and they're like, oh my gosh, these are so good, we want pictures, like we want dance pictures.
Cool.
So I was like, okay. And so like literally like the next weekend I was taking like pictures of more people, and it was just like go since then. Like ever since then it was like I always had people who were like, oh my gosh, I want to shoot. And then I was like, oh, I got to start like charging for this. So I think there was a point, like the first time I started charging people, it was $25, and it was just for like the whole night. Like we would just go out and take pictures the whole evening, and I didn't have any boundaries or any like I was just like, okay, let's just take pictures until we're like tired. So we would do that, and then I would just charge everyone $25 from my dance studio. And then like the younger kids from my dance studio, their moms would reach out to me and be like, we want pictures of our kids. And so then it kind of like, I just kind of like got thrown into this world that I didn't know existed. But it's this whole world on Instagram where kids, their parents run their like Instagram accounts for them, and they post all their like dance journey on there, and they all want to do dance photos, like photo shoots, so that they have pictures for their social media. So I didn't know this whole world existed. So eventually people started following me on my Instagram account that were like people I didn't know, and they were like part of this world. And I was like, okay, like there's like tons of like these child dancers who want photos, and it's a big industry. Like it's a huge niche. It's a small niche, but like it's big money niche. Yeah. And so I didn't know that existed. And then eventually I had people reaching out to me like that I didn't know from like other studios. And so it just kind of grew and like blew up in my face. Like one day I was like, I'm just so busy with like photo shoots. And I was like, I think, so I went to college. I went out of state for college, and then I hated it and came back after one semester and was like, I'm just going to do community college. But when I came back, that's when my business really blew up. Like that's when I like started taking it really seriously, and I bought a professional camera, because before I was just using like a not as professional camera. And so I bought a new camera. I started really like, this is like what I'm going to do with my life, because I like really wanted to like just like in college I experienced a lot of stuff and like with my mental health and everything, so I kind of just threw myself into my business at this point, because I was like, this is the only thing making me feel better. And I remember just exploding after I got back from that one semester of college, and then I started making trips and traveling and like going to places for photo shoots. And I eventually made enough money to pay off my student debt from that one semester that I went at. I think I was like over 20K in debt from that one semester, because I went to school in Hawaii. And I was like, okay, like this is pretty cool. Like I was able to like make enough to like pay that off. And then I didn't like, I guess, Yeah, so it just like kind of grew from there. And then I started like traveling because my main goal was like, I want to travel the whole country and like be able to do photo shoots in different areas. And it was not easy to start that because I remember my first out of state trip was to Arizona and I had like two clients, like two photo shoots.
Sure.
And I was like, whatever, I'm still building my clientele. And it was so scary because I was 18 years old and I like had never really traveled by myself, so I was like so scared.
That's
And
a
I
whole
still have a
beast.
little I have a little like vlog from it that's on YouTube. It's so embarrassing, but like it's pretty cute. It's funny. But yeah, and then I guess I just like it just kind of grew into my career once I realized I could like make like good money from it. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, like this is like my goal is to be like a traveling dance photographer, and that's honestly my dream job and that's all I want to do. So that's what I told myself, and then yeah, it just kind of became like my life,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
It's so cool to see, like, even when we've sat down for coffee, it's like to see all the systems you're building and using for yourself. And, yeah, just like the people that you get to meet. It's so
Yeah.
crazy to think back to when I was the age of like a lot of your clients, I'm sure, that are like, this was not a thing then,
Yeah.
taking pictures and posting them and sharing them was just not, it was like, okay, whatever. And so it's really
Yeah.
cool to see like how as technology advances and all those things too, you get to move with it, which is fun.
Yeah, and I would say too, like my like purpose in doing this job has definitely grown as it kind of took over my life because I started to realize like I loved working with these kids. It's usually like girls who are like ages, I don't know, 8 to like even teenager years, but I get like a lot, I get like the age like 10 or 11 a lot. So I love working with these kids because it's so cool to see them like light up and see their confidence grow when you're like taking photos of them and showing them like, look, you did that, like this is you. And like I'm helping them be able to create art with their own like skill. And
Yeah.
it's really cool because once I started like noticing like how I was impacting these girls and like how their confidence would grow and how like I would work with the same girls over and over again and I would notice their confidence grow and like I would just like see them get better and like it was
Yeah.
such a like dopamine hit for me. I was like, I love this. I love like inspiring these girls and like that's kind of what became like my why, I would say. So I feel like I have to say that too.
I love that. Well, and too, in the day and age where there's so much information online, there's so much going on social media, it can be a deep, dark hole. It's really cool to be able to empower people, especially in a modality like dance, where your body is so capable, but also, we're told a lot of when I was a dancer, it was like, okay, you need to look a certain way or,
Yeah.
be a certain weight and things like that. And it's like, no, you just want to empower people to move their bodies in a way that makes them feel excited and confident. And I love that idea.
Yeah, I think like a lot of dancers will be discouraged. They're like, I can't do that, or I'm not flexible. I can't like do any of those cool poses because I'm not flexible. I'm like, that is not an excuse. Like, we will find stuff for you to do. Like, every dancer has their own thing that we can
Yeah.
work with that we can use to make beautiful art. And I feel like that's my biggest thing. Like, I will work with all different types of dancers, all ages, because like there's no like I don't know. I'm big on like inclusivity and like
Yeah.
how like helping everyone feel confident and not just like certain types of dancers or certain like, like I don't know. I want everyone to feel like they can create art.
Well, and that's the thing is dance is already art. So to be able to
Yeah.
reflect back to them, that is just that's so fulfilling, I'm sure, for you.
Yeah.
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 Oh, so cool. You kind of mentioned some of those days where it's like, okay, I'm traveling by myself. This is
Yeah.
and the moments where you feel really lit up. How do you navigate that? Like, I think entrepreneurship is a spiritual experience in and of itself.
Yeah.
Where sometimes you're slower, some times you're like so busy you can't keep your head on straight. So
Yeah.
when you're feeling like in that creative lack, or you're just like, okay, I need a second or a breather, what's like your go-to, or how do you think through that?
So I do remember my slow seasons are usually like the winter, and I remember this last winter being really slow. So it's kind of still fresh in my mind, like how I felt and everything, because I was like, I have to pay rent, and like I have to
Girl, I know.
take care of myself. So I was like, okay, like what do I do? And my thing is, there's so many ideas and so many different things I could do. It's just a matter of finding which one is going to work. So, like, for me, I try so many different things, and a lot of them flop. I actually just canceled a trip to the East Coast because I had two bookings, and that was not enough to like make any money. So I just canceled it. And like, I'm not really sad about it because like, I'm going to go other places and I'm going to go to California in August and I have all these other things lined up. So it's just like when you have like, I don't know, just like all these ideas, it's like, I kind of just trust, like you said, I think it's a spiritual experience because I trust in my higher power that like, I'm going to be taken care of and like my ideas are sufficient. Like I can like make this happen and I can make this work for myself because honestly like it's really just like having trust and like being like okay I have always made it work somehow and like I have good ideas like it's just like a matter of like I don't know just working on diving and like pulling out those ideas and be like okay I'm gonna try this one I'm gonna try this one and yeah I've had so many ideas flop but like I have had one in particular. I don't know. I guess I can tell you a little bit about it. It's called the Content Club, and the reason why I originally started creating it was because I was like, I have an issue, and my issue is that I am not making consistent income, and I need to find some sort of way that I can make income consistently because for entrepreneurs, it's like really hard to like, I don't know, just like you get like people I make money when people book photo shoots. I don't make like, you know, like a certain amount every month. It's
Totally.
different every month. So I was like, okay, like so basically the Content Club is a subscription program for mini sessions. So these dancers and they do have to submit an application. So there's an application process and if they want to join, they submit the application. All the information is upfront. So before they apply, they can be like, okay, like what package do I want? Because there's two packages. And one package is a little more expensive than the other. But basically, they pay a certain amount every month. And they get either a photo shoot every month with that fee, or they get one every other month, and that's like a lesser fee. And so they get that, plus they get all these other perks like priority editing, like fun opportunities to experiment whenever I want to like experiment with stuff. And I try to like find all these other perks that I can like throw into the package and just kind of like make it like this really cool thing. And at first, the main reason why I made it was literally just to get that consistent income. But now it has grown into like the best business idea that I've ever had because not only am I making like consistent income, I think last term I had 12 dancers sign up for this.
Wow.
But I was also building the strongest client relationships that I have ever had because these dancers, like they wanted to shoot every month. They were paying me every month to do photo shoots. And like I was seeing them frequently. I was seeing them every month. I was working with them consistently. I could see their confidence growing through like each shoot. Like they would get more and more confident and like less afraid. We would get better photos each shoot and like I would get to know them and their mom and their parents or whatever. Like, and like, I just feel like my Content Club clients are like my favorite clients, honestly, right now, because they're the ones I see every month. They're the ones who are the most loyal. And I just love creating that relationship with them. And that has grown into like probably the biggest perk of the Content Club, even though it is nice to make consistent income too.
Totally.
But yeah.
Well, I think the big message there is like you just gotta try something. And honestly, I needed to hear that because you're right. There's so many cool things that you can do, and it's not to say that you can't do them eventually. You know.
Yeah.
You could travel for a whole month if you wanted to, and do some really bomb photo shoots if you wanted. But
Yeah.
I think it's all about, like trusting and giving up just a little bit of control to know that the magic is on its way. You just have to give it a chance to get there, you know?
Yeah, and it did not get there right away either, because I remember I started the content club, and I think I had like 2 people. Like this has been like years in the making. Like I started this like years ago, and it's just now flourishing. Like it took a long time because I believed in this plan. I was like, I know it's a good plan. I just have to get the word out. I have to get the marketing right, and I have to get the people who are interested. And then once I do, it's going to be great. And I just like had that idea, and I was like, okay. And each time I would like tweak it a little bit, make like different little changes to it, and then I think now it's grown into something that I'm just like super proud of.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that's a really helpful message for anybody that's listening, like whether it's like your garden at home that plants keep dying in, or you know, like a business that you're trying to run. It's important to have that resiliency, and just by you taking a risk on yourself and trusting in that your ideas are sufficient. I love what you said there. Like it'll all happen. It just sometimes it does take some patience. And I said this to somebody the other day. It was like patience is not a virtue. Like patience takes more patience, honestly. Like to have patience you need to have some, and you need to figure out ways to find patience. Like that's why tough things happen, you know. Challenges in our lives arrive. It offers us that patience.
It does.
Yeah. What's the biggest lesson you've learned about yourself in the process of building a business and just kind of like navigating this entrepreneurial life?
Like the biggest thing I learned about myself, you're saying? I would say the biggest thing that I've learned is that my mental health comes above everything. Like, yes, I do have to work hard and I do have to make money, but like I have to put my mental health first, because if I don't, I will spiral and not be able to do anything or function. So I don't know, like I have to and I'm still learning how to do that, because I feel like I like go through days where I'm like just work, and I forget that I have to like do self-care and all the things, and I'm like, well, what do I even do? Like I don't even know what to do for self-care. But I try to just like one thing that I am trying to learn, because they say like rest, like you have to rest, make time for rest, and I'm like, well, what even is rest? Because like I sleep, like I take naps, I sleep a lot, and like it's not doing anything. I'm still tired. I don't know, that's a whole nother story. But I just think like rest, I think my therapist said this. She was like, rest is anything that like allows you to feel like, I forget what it was. It was like anything that allows you to feel like calm and like comfortable without having to like exert yourself, your brain, your whatever. So like if rest is like cleaning for you, like that's great. I don't know, like it could be like anything. And so for me, I just like to be creative in a way that's not work. So like I'll like do crafts. Like I'm a very big crafter, like I've always been. So I'll do that, or I'll pull out my ukulele and like play some songs or whatever.
Cute.
But like I have all these other little things that are like it's all creative, like anything that's creative. Or I'll like do a photo shoot with a friend that's not work, like we just are doing it for fun. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I learned is like I have to make time for rest, however you want to call that.
Yeah, I love that. It means something different to everybody.
Yeah.
For me, most these days, it's sitting my ass on the couch.
Yes.
Which is great too. It's great too.
Yeah. Mine is my bed. I love my bed.
Good. I'm glad. You've been super open, like from the jump when I met you to even just, you know, a moment ago of like mental health comes first. Super important just in our lives generally, but you know, on any journey that we find ourselves in. Can you share a little bit about like where this sense of strong advocacy comes from you, and how that has kind of like shaped, where you're at today.
Yeah, so I've had like a lot of bad experiences surrounding my mental health, like people judging me or leaving me or just like friends. And like part of my religious trauma kind of stems from that as well. So I think that fuels a lot of it. Like I don't think that like I want to erase the stigma, although that's like a big thing to do
Totally.
and say, but I want to contribute to decreasing the stigma around mental health and talking about mental health because I think so many people deal with it and like
Yeah.
not enough people are talking about it. And I think like the lack of talking about it and and the stigma around it is what's causing other people to judge other people and themselves when they experience mental health issues, and they feel shame for experiencing those things when it's actually like part of the human experience for a lot of us. And so I think like talking about it and posting about it and like sharing my own story, like I want to like help another person feel less shame or feel like they're less alone. Maybe educate some people on like what it's like if they don't experience mental health issues so that they can be helpful to someone or a friend who is. And then I'm going to show you, I just posted something or I reshared something on my story. I just shared it. It kind of has to go with like the question you just asked. But it said, so this is actually by one of my favorite authors, and she wrote a book that I just love. But she posted this on Instagram this week, and it said, if you've moved through hell and back fighting for your mental health, never stop testifying, never belittle your story. We need to know your story. We need to know people are coming out of the woods. We need to know where the light pours through the cracks. It's like that is like all my reasons why I share about my journey because I think like when I was feeling my worst, I think I would have loved to like have someone like me sharing on social media like about how they I don't know, like they were that low and then they came out on the other side, like they came out of the woods. And it's possible because for me, I always thought like as I got older that things would just get worse and my mental health would get worse because as you get older, things get harder, life gets harder. And I was always scared of the future because of that. And then now that I'm older, I'm like, life is so much easier and so much better now because I was more open and I was open to healing. I was open to doing the work. And that came with time. I struggled for a long, long, long time, like my whole life pretty much. And I'm still struggling, but like the difference is like
Yeah.
I don't know, I've done a lot of healing. I've gone to a lot of therapy and I think like now like it's just different. Like it when you get older and like I don't know, I just feel like I had to like get older and like see how my
Yeah.
biggest thing is like someone told me before too, it was like see how good it can get. Like stick around to see how good it can get because it can get good and it can get really good and you got to stick around to see how good it can get.
Yeah. Well, I think too, to your point, mental health advocacy and just like talking about the things that we experience, whether
Yeah.
that be like an event trauma or just like, behaviors and patterns that we watched growing up or even watch now, like those deeply
Yeah.
affect us. And I think now more than ever, we're seeing more and more people talk about it.
Mhm.
And yet still there's this idea of like, okay, well, you're unwell or,
Yeah.
vice versa. I was
Yeah.
reflecting on that today. There's a little situation at the Salad and Go by my house where it's just like
Oh.
people were not like this lady was screaming from her car.
Oh,
And it's
yikes.
just so easy for us like to be like, oh, judgment, this person is
Yeah.
unwell in this way, this way, this way,
Yeah.
versus just trying to meet the situation of like, hey, like maybe somebody's having a really tough day. Like, how would you want to be treated on that
Yeah.
like day of your life? Or like, oh my gosh, like they're in a place where we can't even fathom being. And so I
Mhm.
think what I'm trying to say is regardless, it's like there's so much more empathy there now that it's so refreshing to see people like you really coming out and talking about it,
Yeah.
about the minutia of things like medication all the way to broadly, like, what is mental health? I think that's just like so important because, you know, I always say if the space between your ears isn't safe, then nowhere else is going to feel safe.
Yeah.
And we don't have all easy days, you know, that's part of the journey. But yeah. It takes some working out to find truly what works for you, your body, your spirit. And, you know, that's I think mental health is spiritual health. It's being able to express yourself in a way that feels so authentic to you. And, just like being able to be yourself. I think a lot of our challenges and frustrations in life come from, you know, being told we can't be something or act a certain way, or break a pattern that we've shared in or witnessed for a long time. And that takes a toll, for sure.
Yeah. I think my biggest reason why I also am just like so, like, I don't know, like I feel so strongly about it is because of my experiences. Like, I think also, like you said, it is spiritual. And one thing that author talks about a lot is mental health is not just spiritual, it's not just mental or physical, it's all three. And I think my issue with when I was like religious, is that they would say like, oh, like it's just spiritual. Like if you're struggling with your mental health, it's because you're not praying enough or you're not having enough faith in God or your higher power or whatever. And so I love what that author talks about because she's talking about like it's not just spiritual, because you can be like praying every day and like asking for healing and just like still struggling with your mental health. And like it's because it's not just spiritual. Like we have to take care of our physical bodies and we have to take care of our mental health and go to therapy and like all the things. It's not just like we have to like keep praying more. We have to keep like, I don't know. I think that one thing is like I feel really strongly about, and I want to like spread awareness around that too, because I think so many like churches, it just like it makes me so mad, like honestly, like because of what I've experienced. Like I think they just like, I don't know, like I've just gotten so many, like I've been rubbed the wrong way. And I think as someone who struggles with mental health, like it's just, we have to be open and we have to just like, I don't know, not judge and not assume and not tell people what to do.
Yeah. Well, I think regardless of what your belief system, your values, or even, you know, whether faith is important to you or not, like those things can be very intertwined and they also cannot be. Like they don't have to be if you don't want them to be, you know. If your main source of stress or anxiety or tension in your life is like when I used to play sports, like that really, in high school, I was in a very dark place, you know, and it was really hard for me to talk about or reach out for help, because I was like, well, doesn't everybody feel this way, you know, so like, why are we talking about it? And sometimes I think it's really easy to be like lonely or alone in that process too. And so wherever you find community, it's just like there's a certain level of respect, I think, to be able to give you guidance and hold you in support, but not tell you how to do something or what to do and let you work things out on your own is so important.
Yeah, I agree.
Beautiful. Can you share with us a little bit about your recovery process? You said you started it a couple of years ago. What does that look like?
So I've always struggled with mental health. I am just in mental health recovery. I know there's people who are in like certain types of recovery, like addiction recovery and all those things. But I've always taken like medication for mental health, but it wasn't until like, I would say the end of 2023 where I found a therapist, for one, that I absolutely love. I still work with her. I started seeing her in 2023 and I just saw her today. She's literally the best. She's so funny.
So
she
important.
has like the best sense of humor. She's literally so funny. Like it's the best. Get you a therapist who has a sense of humor because it will change your life. But that's one. So I started going to therapy weekly. And then so my biggest thing or I would say like where I entered recovery is I went to a treatment center in Scottsdale. It's one of the biggest like ones. I think people from like out of state come because it's so good. But I started going to that treatment center for my mental health because I got like super depressed and was really struggling. And so I started going there. And I do talk about it a lot because I feel like I didn't even know this kind of thing existed for most of my life, like that there was this sort of treatment out there. I thought like, oh, it's only for addicts it's like only for like this sort of people. But like it was so helpful and it literally changed my life. And it was a lot. It was like 5 hours of therapy for 5 days a week for like the first month. And then you step down to like the lower one, which is 3 hours of therapy for 4 days a week for 2 months. So I did 3 months of that. And that's how I got into yoga because they had the yoga studio I go to now. They teach at treatment centers, and that's how I found them. And so they were there, and I just loved the yoga because I have always been into yoga and dance and all the things. And so I think the biggest way it helped me too was like, I was connecting with people every single day. And like, for me, that was huge because I like worked from home and like I didn't really see a lot of people every day. So like connecting with people, because it was group therapy. Like it was like one therapist and then like a group. So before, like when I first started at this treatment center, I honestly hated it. Like I literally was like, I can't do this. I was super emotionally dysregulated. I was like, I don't want to be here. Like I just hated it like so much, and I didn't like the concept of group therapy. I was like, all these people are like addicts or alcoholics and I'm not like that. And so for me it was like I didn't want to be there. And then after like I kept making myself go, well, part of me was like, I need to go. And then part of it was my therapist told me I needed to go. So I was like, okay, kind of just have to like do that or else I won't have any therapy. And so I just kept going and it eventually just got way better. And then by the end of the 3 months, I was like, I don't even know like what my life looks like without this. Like I'm scared to leave. And so that was a whole thing, was readjusting to life after getting out of that program. And it actually went so well. Like I got a job, like a part-time job. I was going to yoga like every day. And so like, and my life has changed so much since then because it's been like over a year since I graduated that treatment program. But and now I'm super busy with like just photography. I don't even have a part-time job anymore. But yeah, so I would say like that is the majority of what. Oh, and I think too, joining a 12-step program for like mental health really helped my recovery because my treatment program introduced me to that as well because I didn't even know what that was. So joining a 12-step program and then like going to yoga and just all of my lifestyle changes, like I've made so many lifestyle changes and like, yeah, like, I don't know. It's just like that treatment center just was like the catalyst for like all of my recovery and growth and healing. And then when I talk about like, oh, I like know why God wanted me to come to Arizona, it's because he knew like I was gonna go to this treatment center and get like the top-notch
The love
treatment
and
that I
support
needed.
you always needed. Yeah.
Yeah, because like honestly, like I feel like yeah, I just wish I had gone to something like that sooner. But I honestly don't know if I would have because I don't know if California has like the same kind of like I know Arizona's like really good for like treatment centers. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think it's all divine timing too. You know, you were there
Yes.
when you were supposed to be, and now here you
Yeah.
are, where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I think you said something too that really When I first like started working with folks in recovery, it's like, oh my gosh, like the amount of external judgments of like, oh no, where they're addicted to this and that, and I'm
Hmm.
not that, so like I don't
Yeah.
need this.
Yeah.
Sometimes you still observe that, and I think it's really refreshing to see that we're all just humans and we all have things that weigh on us and they just
Hmm.
express themselves differently,
Yeah.
and in a way, like we're all healing and recovering from things that, whether we're responsible for them or not, happen to us. And so it's like,
Hmm.
okay, now there's a beautiful community that you can connect with and
Yeah.
really relate to. And I think there's a openness that's not there sometimes when you just meet people, run into
Yeah.
someone at Target or whatever it is. So
Yeah, I think the biggest, like one of the biggest reasons why it was so beneficial for me was because I was surrounded by people with all these different issues, like addicts, alcoholics, and like before I was like, oh, like I shouldn't be here if like they have that issue and I have this issue. But I think that was like part of the magic of it all was like realizing like our issues are not that different. Like yes, they're
mm-hmm.
different and they're separate, but they're like the same. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like what they're dealing with, like, I don't know. It's just like, it was like inspiring for me to see, to be with these people who are dealing with that and like applying what they're learning to like my own issues. And just like, I don't know, it was just really cool.
Yeah, I love that. If someone's listening right now and they're going through a hard season or just struggling with their mental health, what's a piece of advice that you would offer them?
So I think I would say kind of like what I was saying earlier to like see how good it can get
Mm,
because it can get really good. Like life can get good and like you just have to like wait and like put in the work and
mm,
it can get better because I think for me like when I was really struggling I was like I had no visual like I couldn't see how life could be better. Like I could not picture my life as being better because I had always struggled. So I was like, I don't know how good it can get. I don't believe it can get better. And so I just thought like there was no way it could get better. And then I go through treatment and now I'm like, wow, life is just so much more beautiful.
mm.
So it's like just see how good it can get, you know? Like it'll get better. Like things get better and you just have to be like open enough to like I don't know. I know that I say that lightly because some people are open and it still takes them a long time to find the healing they need. But I think just like it's different for everyone, but just to
Mm-hmm.
stay open, have an open mind, and um, put in the work. Yeah.
Yeah, gorgeous, beautiful. All right, I've got some closing questions for you, sister.
Okay.
What is your favorite part about the human experience?
Oh, okay, I know. I think for me specifically, I would say it's about connecting with other humans.
Mm,
I think it kind of goes along with my codependency because I'm very codependent, but like also I just genuinely love connecting with humans and like it can make my day turn around like that. Like
mm,
if I'm feeling like crap and I go to my yoga studio, I really just go for the community, honestly. And then I see all my friends, like I'm instantly going to feel so much better. And I think just like talking and having genuine conversations with people and just like connecting and inspiring other people, helping other people, like the whole connecting with other people, I think is my favorite thing about the human experience.
I love it. Why do you think spiritual connection is important?
Um, I think because it helps, I mean, it just helps us stay grounded and it helps, like, for me,
Mm,
it helps me know what to do because I feel like like, I'm just always so indecisive. But when I, like, turn inwards or turn to my higher power and, like, try to be like, okay, what like is my gut telling me to do? What is my higher power telling me to do? Like it helps me make decisions. It helps me like know how to do things like in my own life. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think it's as you mentioned at the very beginning of this conversation, it can be, somebody else or it can be us.
Yeah.
And it really helps us root into who we are every
Yeah.
season.
Yep.
What's a book or a resource you'd recommend for our listeners to learn more about all the things that we've talked about today?
I love books. I just
I know
finished
you
one.
do.
Yeah, I just finished one yesterday, and I have it right here because it's holding up my microphone, but I'll show you. So it's called Untamed by
It's a good
Glennon
one.
Doyle, and it is currently my favorite book.
I
I
cried a lot when I read that one.
I did too. Well, I cried a little bit because I don't cry a lot, but but it was so good because I think for me it really helped me redefine what spirituality means. Because in the book she talks about this thing called your knowing. And so like for her that's like her higher self or higher power. And it really helped me because I was like, I am so indecisive. I never know what to do. And what I do is I always turn to my higher power and I'm like, God, like, what do I do here? And so I like how she put it, whereas like, you do know what to do. Like, you just gotta like turn inwards and like turn off all the noise and be like, what is my gut telling me to do? Like,
Yep.
what is my knowing telling me to do? And like, I always know like what I want to do and what my gut's telling me to do. I just never trust it. So like that's the thing is like trust. She talks about trusting your knowing and like just trusting yourself. And it was just such a good book. And she talks about mental health and recovery and yeah, it was so good. And then I have another one. I think it's here as well. Um, this one was my favorite book for a long time. Wait, hold on. I don't want the microphone to fall over. Okay, so this one's called Fighting Forward by Hannah Brencher. And this is actually the author I read those posts about earlier.
Cool.
She is so cool. She's actually Christian, and I think she's the only Christian author I really like right now. But she is like she talks about mental health all the time, and the reason why I really love her is because she talks about it from like being a Christian, but like she brings the awareness to it. And like my whole thing was like, oh, I feel like mental health and Christianity are not like they don't go super well together. And so she kind of fights that stigma and like talks about like she's the one who talks about how mental health is all three, spiritual, mental, and physical, not just spiritual. And um yeah, and she talks about like her experience going to like a psych hospital and like all these things like she just like and it's all very spiritual. Like she talks like very it's like her spiritual journey with mental health. So, but she also talks about like taking the vitamins and all the little things that she does, taking medication, fighting the stigma about medication because I feel like a lot of like Christians and a lot of people in general just have a stigma about taking medication for mental health. So she talks about that and like it's just so good. Like she just brings a lot of awareness around mental health, which I love.
Cool. Awesome. I love that. I can't wait. Y'all have to go follow her just based
Yeah.
off of what you
She
shared.
posts really good stuff, like really
Cool.
inspiring stuff. I share like all her posts.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, when you love somebody, you just got to do it.
Yeah.
And tell us about where we can find you. If somebody's listening and they're like, oh my God, I'm a dancer or I'm a yogi and I
Yeah.
want to do a photo shoot with Claire, where can we find you? All the cool things coming up
So,
for you.
yeah, so my business Instagram for photography is Claire Fabre Photo. And then my personal Instagram, where I post more about like mental health and recovery and stuff, is Claire E. Fabre. And
Beautiful.
Fabre is Fabre. I know it's a weird
Thank you.
last name.
Fabre. It sounds so
It's it's
fancy.
French.
I was about to say, it sounds French, like
Yes,
background
it is.
wise.
I don't know if I'm actually French, but I don't think so.
Well, hey, maybe you should look into that, get a little insight.
Yeah.
I just recently learned a little bit more about like my heritage and my roots, and I'm like, that is not what I was told growing up. So now I'm like,
Really?
okay, I just got to do all the testing and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I know. I have to do
Send
that.
my saliva to a lab. So we'll see. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Claire. This is such a
Thank
fun
you.
conversation. I feel like this is a convo for the girlies, you know?
Yeah.
It's just so cool to watch you flourish and blossom amidst
Thank
even,
you.
you know, the challenges that you experience. So
Yeah.
thank you for being an advocate for people always and just being you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This has been like, I was so excited about this. So, yeah.
We'll have to get your podcast stuff and running again.
I know. I do want to make a podcast one day. So then
Cool.
you can be on it.
I would be so humbled and honored to do that.
Yay.
All right, thank you, sister. Love you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.